Tucked away in the heart of Guadalajara lies Saturnal, a distillery unlike any other in an ocean of tequila producers. Here, experimentation and collaboration take center stage. You won't find the latest agave spirit being crafted within these walls. Instead, they're distilling gin, rum, absinthe, and even a remarkable banana distillate. Every creation is a tribute to innovation, artistry, and the beauty of Mexico.
Malbouche. Vitafilado todo. Simón. ¿Cómo se va a ir envío? Sí. Okay. So we could feed about 20 liters of wort or whatever to start with. And then it yielded about 15 bottles of gin. And that's how we started. We started doing like 6 and 12s. Then we went to Gallo Alternero, and the guys from Gallo told us like, okay, we're gonna work with you. And we're like, yes. So we sold 6, and then the next week they're like, okay, we need 12, and we're like, fuck, how are we gonna do 12? But we push it through, and then we bought the other still, and then just kept on going, like really organically. Like, I guess you could say we started this with equivalent of $300, something like that. Jorge and I used to work together at a Guadalajara Film Festival. We were what here in Mexico we call godines. So we had an office job, 9 to 5, and we both loved gin, and he had this little still, and so we said like, why are we paying this? Why don't we just try to do it? So I went to the botanical store, the seed and herb store, bought some stuff. Jorge went to the bottle shop, bought a couple of big bottles of vodka, and that's how we started in my apartment about 8 years ago. Then we did like an extension here, and the thing is like this still, we copied the same idea or the ratio of water to copper, or like liquid to copper ratio, and we transform it, like we translate it into a bigger still, so we still have the same ratio of a copper, which is very important for us in all our processes. We wanted to have a very nice coppery profile, no? And it's a good tool to have. And then this is a clay pot that was used to store wine, and we had it as a gift, or as we borrow it. Really, we have to return it. But we're gonna probably put some experimental stuff here, like the ones I was telling you here, down here. But here we have some fruit spirits. This is guanábana. I don't know the name in English. I think it's sour sop. Sour sop, you know, the green one with a prickly skin. This is mango, and then this is guayaba. So we've been distilling fruits as well, and we also been macerating fruits. So it's a big difference, for example, in the profile of a guava distillate than a guava maceration. The fermentation changes the flavor, and it's a very different result when you use the fruit as a sugar source for the fermentation than as a flavor compound, you know. See, and this is very interesting. We started a collaboration with a local beer, so that it's called Santa Sabina, and Santa Sabina does amazing beers here in Colonia Americana as well. And these guys had a stout that was turned a little bit sour, so we distilled it. So it's a stout spirit, Saturnal, Santa Sabina. So it's like SSS, and we're gonna do some highballs. So you add an H of highball and it's a sh, so it's like the sound of a snake. Yeah, a highball, a regular highball, just the flavor, like very clean, transparent. That's what we're gonna serve on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, so as my partner here, Pedro, said earlier, like this is not just a gin distillery. At its core, Saturnal is a place to experiment, and being from, not only from Mexico, but from Jalisco, which is famously the land of tequila. We wanted to do something else. We didn't want to get into the meat grinder there is the tequila industry. We wanted to be free to experiment in other categories, also free from the oversight of this huge organizations like the CRT and stuff. So that's why we opted for other spirits that are not or were not commonly made in Mexico. Now gin's really taking like a foothold in Mexico. Many other brands are doing it, and that's how we started. But again, at the very core, what we want to do is just experiment with different fermentation techniques. So we have anaerobic, open vat. We do many source like raw materials. So we ferment with fruits, molasses, with different types of sugars from agricole materials. And I mean, we've been outputting rum for the past 4 years. It hasn't really shown its face in the market. We're still waiting on, I don't know if the right moment would be like a fair way to describe it, but we think that the style of rum we're trying to bring into the Mexican palate, it's very unknown still, and the Mexican rum drinker is used to a completely different profile. So that's why we opted for just sticking the rum in barrels and waiting for the right time. But every barrel that we fill gets us more and more excited. We feel that we're finally reaching like the exact profile we were looking for. And that's just rum. I mean, we have the banana spirit, which is getting to be one of our biggest staples, especially abroad. Like people now are starting to sort of hear our name because not just because of gin, but because of the weird shit like the banana spirit and the funky rums that we're making. Yeah, just a drop.
Just a drop. As Saturnal's reputation spreads, so too has its family. Each member wears many hats, working side by side to balance the complex rhythm of fermentation and distillation across a lineup of ever-evolving spirits.
This is like a big label of our gin number 4. This is the first label that we started producing. This is Jorge, my partner's hand, one of my associate, not my business partner, and he made also the graphics. So the idea behind having the snake is the hand is cutting through the snake, separating the tails, the hearts, and the heads, right? So that's like and then we started using the snake in all of our labels and as a metaphor to distillation itself. So the idea of the snake as the distillation, and then we made it physical with the snake head in the still. That's like the philosophy and the idea, no? Then this is our London Dry, and that's our vodka labels, and they're all with the snake. So we try to always put a snake in our labels, no?
So for the absinthe is one of the very first spirits we started to produce, like under like a consistent recipe under the brand, and again, it is a category of spirit that is not very well known in Mexico. There aren't many brands, imported brands, and there are very few Mexican producers of absinthe, and they're all very recent. So we again wanted to incorporate a category that feels very foreign to the Mexican palate, and to just try to make it our own, and to especially first introduce it in our immediate community, which is the bar industry of Guadalajara. We've been very fortunate to have been, we had a great reception with the absinthe. One of the very first spirits we started making, and it's still on production. We absolutely love to do it. We like to sip on it just neat. And just for the people that are not very familiar with absinthe, absinthe is made in a basically similar fashion, the same way as you would make a gin. So you will infuse botanicals into a base spirit. In our case, it's grain spirit. But the essential part is that it has Artemisia absinthium, otherwise known as wormwood. If it doesn't have that, technically it shouldn't be an absinthe. So we do put like that extra effort to actually contain it, to have it in our absinthe, because nowadays there are also brands that don't use it anymore. There's still a lot of stigma regarding both the category and the plant itself. But we thought like, okay, no, let's just try to go more OG in the recipe. As well as with the gin, we want to first pay homage to the tradition of both like the classic gins, and by classic I mean from the conception of the London Dry up until now, and then of course classic absinthes from the late 19th century. So before innovation, before trying to implement new flavor profiles, for us it was always important to have a fair idea of what a classic procedure is, a classic recipe is supposed to taste like, and how it's supposed to perform once you sip it, either neat or in a cocktail. Once we understood that and we felt confident, then we actually began to give the spirits nuances. So for the absinthe in particular, it's a very classic structure in the botanical bill. But for instance, we do add hoja santa, which is very commonly used in southern Mexico, especially in the cuisine of Oaxaca. And it reinforces that aniseed profile, but it also gives us that really velvety green that gives color to our absinthe. It comes from the chlorophyll contained in the hoja santa, and all the mouthfeel is also from the hoja santa, all the oils from the plant. So that was our way to incorporate something pertinent to Mexican culture, but sort of giving also its place to tradition and the classic profiles. There are different ways to approach how we source like our materials and how we take advantage of the abundance of resources that we have here in Mexico. So for the gin, for instance, it's a bit it's like a sweet and sour situation, because a lot of very emblematic botanicals are either not produced in Mexico, or because climate and weather conditions they can't be grown. So we have to source them from elsewhere. But in the case of the rum, it's very fortunate that we are in Jalisco, again, very much known for the agave, but Jalisco is also one of the main producers of sugarcane. So we have a lot of sugar processing factories that output loads and loads and loads of molasses. And we have molasses, and we're able to use molasses from different regions within Jalisco, and they all come from different, with its own set of characteristics and profiles. From southern Jalisco, they're much more like saltier and savory. From near Guadalajara, sweeter, more like a charred, burnt caramel flavor. So it's nice to have that diversity just within our own state. And what we're doing as of last year is we're also starting to collaborate closer with producers that we respect from the tequila industry, and we're now incorporating their barrels, for instance, to age both rum and gin. And what we're trying to achieve is a symbiotic relationship between the profiles that we can design through botanical selection, and then the expected aromas and flavors that we're going to get from a barrel that was sitting for maybe a year or 2 years with tequila. We're treating the barrel and the tequila contained within as botanicals themselves, and that sort of changed the way we looked at aged gins. And for us, it's opening like a new frontier of gin, especially. We were a bit skeptical at first because we've tried other aged gins in an aged like more traditional way. We were not big fans of that, but once we got our hands on some really nice barrels from, again, distilleries we respect, we were completely won over by the results. So that's just like a new thing we're starting to approach, to experiment on, and so far the results have been really well, exciting. Yeah. I think we'll go for the absinthe.
Actually really good.
So we're here this tasting, absolutely incredible. And this right here is the Saturnal gin that then they went and put in Don Falano cask. A Don Falano cask, a single barrel for what, 6 months? Or how?
6 months.
For 6 months. It's gone just a little over 50%. Beautiful color. I've never really been one to sip gin. I would absolutely sip this. You get all that herb, the botanical, and then just this warmth that comes through from those French oak barrels. I love just that they're thinking outside the box and they're experimenting. And I'm gonna see if I can maybe purchase some at some point to take some home. But just, man, this is to come to Guadalajara and Jalisco, which I'm here all the time, and to think, where could we go that's a little outside of the box to come to this distillery is pretty special.